Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Usually it is the weekly Wednesday travel show, but I have decided to change it to Thursdays, so it will become the weekly Thursday travel show. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Carl from Healy Adventures, and I post travel adventure content from Southeast Asia right now and around the world in general. So if you are into that kind of content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button to be notified every time that I post, which is mostly weekly. So today is the start of the Laos vlogs. Last week we finished the Vietnam vlogs off. However, today's vlog will be mostly the transit between Vietnam and Laos. Now most backpackers will be on a budget. We decided to go for the cheapest. It wasn't a plane, it was the first time we were traveling countries, between countries with a bus, and a 30-hour one bus. I had read so many reviews about it, so many funny stories, but we decided to give it a go. And I will be documenting every moment, all the bad moments, all the good moments, what to do, maybe we'll seek to take. So yeah, stay tuned.
Dreaming of tomorrow, soaking up the sun. We can go and find the magic. Yeah, we could run away, 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 away. We don't have to stay, we could run away. Away, 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 away. Oh, we could run away, run away. Away, 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 away. Away, 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 away. We don't have to stay, we could run away.
So before we get into it, I just want to say beforehand the difference between Laos and Lao. You'll find a lot of people referring it to as Lao, and I researched it, and what I found is that basically it is Laos, the country is Laos, but something or someone from that country is Lao. I will be explaining all the stuff you need to do to board this 30-hour bus from Hanoi to Luang Prabang in Laos. It will pass over the northern border of Laos, and what you need to do is when you're in Hanoi, Vietnam, you need to go get a visa from the embassy, from the Lao embassy. I will leave a link in the description to the location, to the Google Map location, and you need this. You can't go on that bus without it because they will stop you at the border and you will not be able to enter Laos and you will have to find a way back. But you need to go there, you'll get it. It will take, if I'm not mistaken, just a day. You'll take it in the morning, you need to leave your passport there and you can go back for it after a couple of hours. The cost of the visa varies between nationalities, but ours was $35. We asked them if we need to pay anything else at the border. They said definitely not. This is the only payment you need to basically pay. That's not true. The cost of this direct bus from Hanoi to Luang Prabang was €40.95, but that will not get you to the hostel in Luang Prabang, so there will be additional charges, if I'm not mistaken, around €3 to get a tuk-tuk then from the bus station it stops you in. Keeping those in mind, it was still so much cheaper than a flight. That being said, I went and researched about this bus. I went on a few blogs, and there were some mixed reviews. Some of them hated it, some of them called it the worst thing they've ever done in their life. They overpack it with boxes and locals, and they'll place them on the floor, and if you are on the bottom seat, they'll be sleeping on the floor but maybe take a piece of your seat and you already don't have a lot of space. So yeah, it was very, very mixed. Some of them couldn't take the long hours, but as I said, me and Sean just went for it. It's part of the adventure, and we left the hostel at 5, arrived at the bus station at around 5:15. We were told it would leave at 6. We went to buy snacks because snacks can be very important. And obviously, this is Southeast Asia, they were late. The bus was supposed to leave at 6. We got on the bus at 6:20. And Sean and I had the seats at the very back, on top at least, but at the very back. And we're next to each other, so we had 33 hours of touching elbows because obviously the seats were super close. Now we decided that he'll do the first 15 or 16 hours on next to the window. As soon as we get to the Laos border, we switch. We ended up leaving at around 7:30 if I'm not mistaken. So I had decided to make a plan of how I'm going to spend my time. Like I wanted to have a couple of things to do, and basically this was my plan. My laptop gave me around approximately 2.5 hours of battery time, so I decided I'll edit in those 2.5 hours. I had downloaded around 4 episodes on Netflix an hour each, and some YouTube videos totaling of 5 hours of downloaded stuff on my phone, because obviously since we're changing countries we wouldn't have 3G to stream. I obviously knew that I'd have around 3 hours in stops, for example toilet breaks, food, dinner and lunch, and the rest were 8 hours of sleep. I had a version PDF of the Subtle Art of Not Giving a F***, the book. I had half of it left to read, so that would take a couple of hours, and also the rest they would have to be basically listening to music and just looking out of the window. And you think that's boring, but trust me, when you're somewhere like Laos, it is so amazing, and you will spend hours looking out because it is that beautiful. It is one of the greenest countries I've ever seen, one of the most untouched countries I've ever seen. So for the next couple of hours I edited on my laptop. I used my laptop battery. I decided to go with that first. It was all well and good. We started our journey to Laos, but then came the first blip. We stopped at another place in Vietnam, and the boxes started pouring in. Massive boxes, countless number of boxes. Like honestly, they just kept pouring in and pouring in, and they basically started throwing them behind us, behind Sean and I, since we were the last seat. Honestly, the backpackers, travelers at the back, we all just looked at each other and laughed. I heard stories about this bus, so I decided to document it all. Wouldn't believe the sheer amount of boxes, and massive boxes. And my seat was reclined, and they started putting boxes and packets and packages in the space where my seat reclines. Another backpacker realized and told me, like, listen, you better put your seat down because they will take that space for you. And I realized I just pushed a bag out of the way, put it down, and made sure they wouldn't, take my space, because it could have easily been a case where I don't realize they take that space, I wouldn't be able to put down my seat and I wouldn't be able to sleep. Now imagine how horrible that would be. So if you're at the back seat, make sure to own your space, because I think they might take advantage. None of them speak English, so it's not like you're going to reason with them. Just make sure you own your space. You've paid this ticket, you own that space. And at 9:45 approximately, we arrived to our first break. It was a dinner break with a toilet break, obviously. And it was quite a good stop, good flow. We had half an hour to an hour if I'm not mistaken. And after that we were back on the road, lights out, it was time to sleep. I slept through most of the night. Contrary to some of the blogs I read, the roads were perfectly fine. I literally didn't wake up once. I woke up at 6:45 because we had finally arrived at the border. I was surprised how long it took to get to the Laos border, but we arrived at around 6:45, 6:50, and it was time obviously to get off the bus. The bus cannot pass through the border with you on board. Everyone needs to exit the bus. And you need to have these things with you, obviously, before you exit the bus. First of all, you need your passport with the Laos visa inside of it, which you got in Hanoi. You need dollars just in case for scams, because let's face it, this is Laos, and there will be, and Southeast Asia in general, I mean, there won't be big scams, but they will be $1 or $2, they won't let you through unless you pay it, so there isn't much you can do. So the first thing you will notice once exiting the bus and walking towards the visa exit office of Vietnam is that there will be a few women with Lao money and they will be offering you to exchange it. You know, you give them your remaining Vietnam dong and they will give you the Lao money. Now I didn't do it, Sean did, and the rates weren't too bad. So if you don't have a lot of Vietnamese dong left, you know, go ahead. And we got to the office and we were Sean and I were one of the first in line. However, lots of locals kept skipping us. They were giving them lots of passports. I don't know why, but they all skipped us basically. So we had to wait like 20 minutes until they were done. And then when it was finally time for us, we went. It only took us a couple of minutes and we were done. We had the exit stamp. So the process in total took around 45 minutes, although we were one of the first ones. A lot of local people were skipping, going through a different line, and as I said, we were one of the first ones. So now we need to wait for all the other people who obviously were on the same bus. So I'm guessing it will be around an hour and a half at least. But we still needed to walk to the visa entry point of Laos. That was just a couple of 100 meters up the hill, and once we got there, they told us we needed to pay $1 for health something. I don't even know what it was. Health certificate, he said. And this was a soldier actually asking us for the $1. We asked another soldier who had taken care of our visa stamp, and he just laughed. He didn't say anything. I think obviously, you know, he knew we knew. But I mean, at that point, you think it's you'd be saying like for $1. I mean, you know, it's just $1, but it just feels bad. You know, you're being cheated, and there's nothing you can really do. I mean, what are you going to do? Just that's why they actually do it. So we paid the extra $1. Try and not keep a lot of dollars showing, just in case there's a bigger scam going. Keep them in your pocket and show him your wallet with maybe $1. I don't know. But yeah, after that we were done. Again, we were the first ones, Sean and I, done, so we had to wait for everyone to be done. And if I'm not mistaken, it took around an hour and a half to 2 hours. It was time to continue our journey to Luang Prabang. And it was time for Sean and I to switch. I was next to the window and I fell in love with Laos straight away. It is so untouched. I will not stop saying that. It is so untouched and so beautiful. We're passing from the north of Laos, and we're passing through a mountainous area. The roads were just amazing. You'll just find a few houses on wooden stilts and children playing outside. But again, we never passed through any villages, just these houses along the road. And honestly, I just fell in love with Laos. Then at 11:30 we stopped for our lunch break. We had, the menu wasn't so clear. We couldn't understand what the food actually was, so we decided not to eat there. And we went to a shop nearby, bought a few apples, a few snacks. But be warned, this is the only stop you'll have in Laos until approximately 11 p.m. because after that there are no shops, no nothing whatsoever. So do make sure you're stocked up and you know, on food, because you can get obviously very hungry. After that we continued on our journey again, just more beautiful roads, and there were no other toilet stops except for one in the middle of the road. There were no shops to go to toilets to, so the bus driver just stopped us on the side of the road and he was like, anyone who needs goes now, because we are not stopping again until tonight. This was around 5:30 p.m. So far the trip until 5:30 was okay. We were fine, we still had stuff to do. But in the next few hours, in the last few hours, we were becoming super restless. We had been on that seat for so many hours, we couldn't take it. you can do, and you have to just wait it out. I needed to pee, and I was just trying to sleep to forget that I needed to pee, but I wasn't managing. And but the moment finally arrived at 11 p.m. 30 hours later, and we had finally made it. As I said, we made it to the bus station. We weren't even at the hostel. We were starving. We got a tuk-tuk, another €3.50 to the hostel. We just checked in, left our bags, and went looking for food. All the restaurants were closed. However, luckily in Luang Prabang there is a street market, a food street market, which is open till late, and that saved us. So as a summary to that bus, would I do it again? Yes, I would, because the scenery was so beautiful. You get such a feel of Laos straight away, especially in the beginning, and you know, it was quite comfortable. The roads were totally fine, contrary to what I had read on some blogs. Maybe the roads were done. So would I recommend it again? Yes, but obviously the last few hours might be tough. Try and have as many things to do. Take every toilet break you can. And other than that, good luck if you are doing it. Again, if you have any questions, you can either comment down below and I'll try and answer you, or just send me a message on Instagram. And that is it on today's Laos vlog 1. Obviously I didn't show you as much of Laos because of the long journey by bus. Now for all you motorcyclists and for all you adventurers, travelers, Laos is the place for you. Stay tuned, don't forget to subscribe, because I will be showing you some of the nicest places I went on the 6 months of traveling Southeast Asia. Laos is my favorite country along with Vietnam. And you'll see why soon, very very soon, next week in fact, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Keeps beating like an island drum, 'cause you're my only one. You make me feel so good.